Hey my awesome friends, it's Anissa, and in this video I'm going to share with you the birth story of my first child. I was not doing YouTube videos during that time, so I don't have a whole vlog or a lot of footage, but I'll share some clips that I do have. She is now 2.5 years old, but her birth story was actually documented on my personal Facebook page, and I have all the details there, which I will go through. I had a natural, unmedicated hospital birth in California, and I was doing hypnobirthing at the time, which I think really helped me achieve that. On Friday, I woke up to a little bit of bloody show, and I got pretty excited. I was like, great, I'm so over being pregnant, especially towards the end. You're just so big and uncomfortable. And I text my doula like, oh, should I start doing hills, lunges, squats? Like, what should I do to get this labor to progress? She told me to relax, watch a movie, take a bath, just spend the day as usual. Don't do any physical strenuous things to get labor started. It'll come as it's meant to. I went to bed that night, and then Saturday morning at 1 a.m. I started having cramps, and it woke me up. And I tried to go back to sleep, but I just kept having cramps. And I think this was the start of like onset early labor. At this point, I'm 39 weeks and 6 days, and I visualized contractions like waves. So with each coming wave, I visualized my baby like out in the ocean in a boat, and with each wave it was coming closer to me and closer to me onto shore. Once the sun was out, I got my husband up and started walking up some hills, up and down in our neighborhood, and that was at about 8 a.m. Then at about 8:30 a.m., my friend Helen came over and she picked me up because I wanted to go out to have breakfast with her. We grabbed some breakfast burritos, and we just sat down at the cafe and ate those and walked around the parking lot. The waves were probably about 15 minutes apart, and they were pretty easy to just breathe through. What I was trying to do is create distractions so I didn't have to think and focus so much on what was going on with my body. After breakfast, she got her car washed, and then I helped vacuum her car while still in early labor. And then at about 10:30, she dropped me off at prenatal yoga. And I told the instructor, hey, you know what? I'm in early labor. My contractions are happening about every 15 minutes. I'm gonna still attend class. Is that okay? She was fine with that, and everybody in class knew as well. After class, the instructor drove me home at about 11:30, and then Matt and I had a light lunch, and that was just some avocado toast because I know I have to continue eating, so I have the calories. I continued to labor at home, and the waves were about 8 minutes apart, still pretty happy and talkative between them. My husband Matt did sacral counter pressure and then also applied heat packs on my back, and then at 3 p.m. is when our doula Karen arrived at our house, and she helped me work on the birth ball along with more counter pressure, and they drew me a bath. I got into the bathtub at about 3:30, and then we also played the hypnobirthing tracks at that time, and I just had it playing on my cell phone on speaker, and that was it. During each wave, my breathing got low. I had to stay focused and then really just focus on my breath, making sure it's nice, long, and deep. And I would have to stop talking at that time just so that I could focus on it. My doula, Karen, and my husband, Matt, would also stop talking. And then once the wave passed, then we would all go back into conversation. We kept the conversations really light. Our doula also instructed my husband to help pour warm water down my back. That really helped. And then at 5 p.m., we decided it was time to go to the hospital. So during this time, each wave was probably about 1.5 minutes apart, lasting about a minute. At about 5:15, and then we quickly got checked in. During the check-in process, I told them that I'm a hypnobaby mama, and I just blurted out my birth plan to them. And I consented to getting checked once, and they said I was about 7 centimeters dilated, and then I had a stat lock only. I didn't want to be hooked up to any IV fluids, and then I also requested a wireless monitor to monitor the baby's heart rate. So I had those too. So we moved about the hospital room, mostly just going from the bathroom. I sat on the toilet, and I think this is when my water broke because all the other times there was no fluid gushing around. And then we went to the hospital bed, changed positions a bunch of times from like sitting, leaning, crouching, going on all fours. And then Karen, she pulled out some essential oils and started massaging my back at the lower back instead, since we didn't have that bathtub anymore, and that felt really good. Karen was also talking into my ear, and she was saying positive affirmations and then coaching me through my breathing to keep it deep and low. We also had those hypnobirthing tracks that I was listening to before on my phone. They were still playing in the hospital on speaker, and that was just at like the nurse's table. As the waves got stronger and stronger, I started losing control. I started losing focus. I became more vocal, and Karen, she just kept trying to remind me to stay, focused, stay calm, deep, long breaths. There was actually one point during the labor that I felt like maybe I needed pain medication. And then I quickly talked my mind out of it, only because I was thinking like, no, she's almost here. My little boat with my baby in it, it's almost to shore. It's not gonna be that much longer. So at 8:15, we asked the staff to come back in to do another cervical check, and they said I was fully dilated and effaced, and so she's ready to come out. As for positioning, I was positioned on my knees facing the wall, kind of like leaned over. And the problem was I was having so much back pain because my baby wasn't positioned correctly. Her head was against my sacral, so on my back. And so it was pushing against that bone and all those nerves. And then my right leg actually went numb. And so Karen, she started massaging my right leg with some more oils. And then quickly after that, I turned over to my back. My husband had one leg, my doula Karen had the other leg, and then I was instructed to push as instructed by the nurses and the staff at the hospital. Now, if you are doing hypnobirthing, you are not supposed to push the baby out. You're supposed to like breathe the baby down. So I did not do any of that. And I pushed for about 45 minutes, and then at 8:59, out came our little girl, little T, and she had an APGAR score of 8. She was pink and just plump. And the first thing I said to her was like, wow, you're so cute.
She's pretty chubby though. I wouldn't say she's chubby, she's pretty big though.
She's perfect.
Yeah, she's exactly the size
You ready?
she needs to be.
Put on your chest, yeah?
Oh yeah.
That reason.
Yeah. Open your eye. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at her.
Overall, it was still a really positive birth story for me and my husband. We still were really happy with how it came out. However, this is only part 1 of part 2 of my birth story. So stay tuned for that one. I hope you enjoyed this story and found this video helpful. If you are planning to do any hypnobirthing, or you're pregnant right now and you want any tips and tricks on how to achieve a natural birth, go ahead and watch this video here. It's where I share all the things that I did to help prepare for my second birth. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!